Well, how did the process unfold? I got an email from you introducing Computer Cloud Network, and I saw the vision of what it could be, and obviously not being an IT guy myself, and being inquisitive as well, I wanted to take a look into it, and so I went down and had lunch with you guys and listened to the process, and someone that has to make capital decisions on a daily basis, knowing, and also a person who physically was putting a lot of our individual workstations in place, to see the opportunity to not have to deal with that down the road. That was probably the big hook for me, knowing that I wouldn't have to worry about replacing these PCs. When I took the position that I'm in now, there was a lot of old PCs that needed to be changed out, and so it was a matter of a lot of dollars and a lot of time and a lot of inconvenience to the staff of rolling those old PCs out and new ones in and getting them set up and then making them function like they used to, and knowing that we could get to a place where updates would be complete when we didn't have to worry about it, that hardware would never really go bad, and if it did, it would be somebody else's problem. That was appealing. And it took a little time for us to get there, for the fear of going to, the cloud, so to speak, but I would say now that we're there with a quality internet speed, things seem to be functioning just fine. And what are we at, coming up on 6 months now? So,
what do you see as the major difference, David, between pre and post?
Yeah, good and bad. I think, control, obviously, being somebody that's used to having to monitor and control that myself, and to some extent being able to solve some of those problems, that was the scary part. Now that we're past that, I'm not worried about it anymore. It's just become a way of life. But I can sympathize with what it's like trying to get over that hump. Now that we're there, somebody comes into my office and says, "Hey, my computer's not doing this," and I just say call 24/7. And I don't have to be the guy that stops what I'm doing and get up from my desk, because I was kind of the on-site IT person. I don't have to get up from my desk and try to fix it before we called our IT company. And our old IT company was very good. They were very responsive, and they usually could solve problems fairly quick. But it's just that much easier now, and I don't worry about it like I used to.
Well, it's like I've described you as the quintessential ship's captain. Captain doesn't necessarily know how to go down below decks and repair the diesel.
Yeah, I don't know that I can quantify it, like it saved me 5 hours a week. That would be kind of tough, but I know that it's saved me a lot of headaches, and that's probably more invaluable than the time that it saved, just because now as more time goes by and I get more comfortable with your service, I don't worry about it anymore. And like I said, I've gone from somebody calls me and says my computer's not working, I get up and leave my desk and go try to fix the problem before calling in. Now I just say, the number's on your access device, just go ahead and give them a call, and I know they'll solve it. And the more I do that, the more I'm reassured that the service is there, it's very responsive, and problem solved.
So Steve and Leo have been good.
Steve and Leo have been great. I've worked with Steve more than Leo, but both, when I call right away, they're responsive and immediately solve the problem. So I've never really had any problems there. It's never gotten a complaint from a staff member that says, "Oh, they put me on hold," or they said they would call me back. I would say, we got to the point with our old IT provider that became an issue, that they weren't necessarily able to solve the problems right away. So, plus I would also look at it this way: is our old provider didn't necessarily architect the system in terms of our internal network. They kind of absorbed it. Now they've been with us for a long time, but the nice thing is we architected this setup in today's IT environment. So you guys built it. You know how it was built, and I'm sure you've done that before, and it's consistent with other systems. So I think from an efficiency standpoint, I'm going to assume as a customer or as somebody on the other end of the phone that you can solve problems faster because you built it.
There is no consistency between systems that we audit, but this is kind of Randy's vision to impose best practice. So it's like you shift the hardware risk to us,
right? And
you're in a best practice environment when it comes to backups and service and everything else.
Yeah. The cloud environment. I'm a Mac guy, and when we were going through the sales process, I was pretty upfront about that. And I was also that guy that was kind of married to his laptop. And I remember Randy in one of our meetings saying, I used to be that same guy. I would pull my laptop to a meeting and I would lay it on the desk, and that made me look important. And we've gotten to a point now where, we do so much business on our cell phones. We are in different places and don't always have access to our laptop because it's big and bulky and you can't necessarily carry it with you on vacation or if you go away for the weekend. But knowing now that, to some extent fairly easily I can get on my desktop just about anywhere, it doesn't matter what software platform I'm working on, I can log in and go. That's been a big deal for me.
When you're not here, how do you access it?
I still work on a laptop, so I usually, most of the time when I need to access it, I'm at home. But
So you leave your laptop at home?
no, I still, because I haven't put a cloud access device in my office yet. I'm getting close to that. I've thought about it a lot, because that would definitely mean I didn't have to carry that briefcase back and forth. But it's nice to have it at home. I flip it open, I log in a matter of minutes, and I'm as if I'm sitting at my desk. There's really no difference. And
At this point,
been a
all
nice
of your
convenience.
data is located on the
Well, yeah, we were butting up against that in terms of our old IT company. They were constantly pressing us like, hey, your backup. We were on a tape drive that we put a new tape in every night, and it was backing up, I think, some basic data. Fortunately, for the most part, we never really needed it, and I guess that's why I was hesitant to spend a lot of money on it. I know you could back up to the cloud, and we talked about better devices, hardware on site that would allow us to back up more data, and we were kind of pushing that envelope as we started talking to you guys. So now I don't have to worry about that. I mean, everything's backed up automatically. If somebody's system crashes, we used to have that issue where everybody's working on their own PC. As much as I would stress it, like, hey, anytime you save a document, save it in a shared folder or on the network, because at least that's backed up and we can recover it. If you save it on your PC and your PC crashes one night when you're at home, that data, that information is gone. That document you were working on, you can't get it back. And now I know that everybody's desktop is personalized to them. They can leave their own documents on there, and I know that it's all backed up and secure. And
That's just a great step for an organization to get the excuse to do that.
yeah, well, and small businesses like us don't necessarily, until you get burned by it, you don't realize how important it is. It's one of those things you almost have to get burned by a network crashing and losing all your data to understand how important it is to back it up. And then you start measuring out, well, hey, it's going to cost me $100 a month, $1,200 a year just to back up data. That's not a tangible item that you can put your arms around. You don't see a return on investment on that, and you don't see it, and you never really will if you're doing that, because if everything crashes, you just restore it. But like I said, that's kind of where small business folks like us, you almost need to get burned by it before you understand how important it is.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing, because that's the last time in the world that you want to be learning that lesson.
Yeah.
But we had one client that we just picked up here recently out in Beaverton. They lost it all.
Yeah.
They had to start from scratch. So they got the help of the IT company that they had currently, but when we took over, it was like, it's a terrible tale.
Right.
I mean, talk about staff time and grief and anger. So, since you've gone to the cloud, on an average week, what would you say you save in time?
Yeah, I'd probably say somewhere along the lines at 10%. I mean, it's hard to quantify, but I think that's a fair number, and I think it's fair from the standpoint that I don't have to get up from my desk and try to solve problems before calling our old IT company. Now I'm just very confident in the service that we'll receive, that I just say, the numbers on your cloud access device, just call 24/7 and they'll solve the problem.
And have you noticed a difference in access from places beyond the course?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a cloud-based system, so I can access it from anywhere and get the same experience. I don't have to worry about if I have my laptop with me. If I need to, I can access it on my phone. So sky's the limit in terms of where and how I can access my information or my desktop if I need it.
What would you say the main advantage is if you were talking to another business owner about switching from a traditional hardware network to the cloud? What would you say really makes the difference now that you're past the process? Of course, you were aware of the benefits before,
Yeah.
but
Well, I would feel like it's a leap of faith at first. I would say that was the first thing. Like, I'm jumping into something I really don't understand. I don't know how it's going to work. But once you get there, it's like, whoa. There's a big difference in what we used to do and how things used to work. But now, there's a big difference between how things work now than compared to the way they used to. And things are just so much more cleaner. They're more organized. The levels of security in terms of who has access to what files is so much cleaner. And those are things that, as a non-IT person, I didn't really realize could exist.
you really have that kind of
And now that it's there, there's certain employees that need access to certain folders, but others don't. We're going through right now. A good example would be taking our all of our HR files and scanning them electronically so that we house them electronically instead of on the old paper way.